So, to jump in, we have three incredibly accomplished panelists here today, and they're each going to give about a 10-minute presentation, after which we will entertain questions and discussion and have about 45 minutes of discussion. We're going to ask that you feel free to submit your questions in the question box on the toolbar for GoToWebinar anytime that you would like during the presentations. We will be addressing them, though, after all three presentations have taken place. So our three panelists are Peter DiGiammarino, it's a mouthful, Peter, Carol Switzer, and Ben Gilad. I'm going to introduce Peter first because he's going to be the first speaker. And Peter is a senior executive with over 30 years of success leading businesses that target tight public and private markets around the world. In addition to running companies, he serves public, private, and private equity-owned and venture capital-backed software and services firms as an advisor and/or board member, and has consistently helped them to achieve their full potential to perform and grow. I want to know when you sleep, Peter. As a former successful CEO, he knows how to develop and lead teams of high-powered, driven professionals. His emphasis is to create and implement plans that are true to the organization's market, their offerings, their competence, and their purpose. So really feasible, high-resonating plans. He currently serves as the chairman of CompuSearch and advises a dozen other organizations as CEO of Intelliven. He's based in San Francisco, California, for those international here. He's also an adjunct professor of master's students in the Organizational Development Program at University of San Francisco School of Management. And there is a workbook that he has authored, Manage to Lead, 7 Truths to Help You Change the World, was used to teach a course there that he developed on organizational analysis and strategy. So Peter, I'm going to turn it over to you, and we look forward to what you have to share with us today. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. To make it easy, everybody, feel free to call me Peter D. That's my trade name. And I appreciate that introduction. I call myself a professional CEO, having worked with organizations as small as concept, the early stage startup, all the way up to $1 billion. So I have a lot of experience running organizations at various stages and scales. So in talking about the role of leaders in strategy success, I find it helps initially to define what we mean by strategy. Because I think it means different things to different people. We have all kinds of strategy. We have strategy, strategic initiative, strategic thinking, strategic planning. So what are we really getting at here? Well, two things I'll point out of all of those definitions. When I think of strategy, I think of what a leader and a leadership team decides to do in order to win whatever game it is they're playing. So if you're playing chess, your strategy might be to try to dominate the center of the board and keep your high power pieces like the rook and the bishop, or the rook and the knight off the outer edges of the board. If you're playing tic-tac-toe, it's keep out of the middle and grab a corner and so on. If you're Macy's and you read the paper the other day, you see that their strategy now is to get out of the business of competing with JCPenney and try to move towards competing with Neiman Marcus and Nordstrom's. And if you think about it, that is a strategic initiative as opposed to a strategy. So the strategic initiative is what a leader or a leadership team plans to do to change the way they're playing the game to increase the odds that they'll be winning the game. Now, it turns out that when we think about strategy failure and success, we're probably talking about strategic initiatives. Whether the strategic initiative may be successful or not, and there are some things you can do to increase the odds of success. And it turns out, though, that most strategic initiatives turn out not to succeed. And we have lots of statistics. If you want to see more, you can get in touch. This link is hot if you have access to these slides, and give you at least one example that says strategic initiatives, by and large, 75 to 90% of the time, tend to fail or fail to achieve their objectives. And what I have found over my career is that there's a few things that leaders can do to increase the odds of success. So if you do a few things right, you don't necessarily guarantee success, but you dramatically increase the odds of success, and I'll take you through a few of those here. The Manage to Lead, 7 Truths to Change the World is the name of the workbook that I've developed to summarize these 7 truths that drive actions consistent with the truths. And I'm not going to go through each one here. There's a 7-minute video that you can get a 5-minute summary of all 7 truths. But what I've done is sort of organize them into 3 blocks. One is to get ready, which you talk about here, where the idea is for a leader to be clear about what it is they seek to accomplish, by when they seek to accomplish it, why they seek to accomplish it, and how they plan to do it. So just getting clear adds a lot of value, and then creating the story around that, like why are things now, why do they need to change, what really good thing happens if we change, what really bad thing happens if we don't, what will things look like if they change or when they change, do we have in mind. Telling that whole story increases the odds vastly of success compared to just saying we have to do this. Another thing to do is to know what to watch, to know where we are now, where we'll be when where we want to be, where we are along the way, and if we're making progress according to a timetable. So having the metrics clear, identified, and tracked and reported on all along the way is key. And third, in terms of getting ready, put a leader in place to build a leadership coalition or a team that will drive the planning and implementation to make sure everything that's supposed to happen actually happens. And then once they're underway, the leader needs to provide resources, time, money, people, tools, expertise, experts, training, methodology, templates, and empower the organization to actually use these tools and resources to get things to happen. So just saying you want things done is not enough. You actually have to authorize the environment and the people and the resources and support them with the resources to get it to happen. You also need, in the do and review stage, need to keep an opening. You can say communicate. That means top-down management needs to say to the masses what it is they want done, but they also have to be open to questions coming back, ideas, concerns, and have everyone involved. So you increase the odds of success by getting everyone involved in the organization to understand what needs to happen, why it needs to happen, what it means to them for it to happen, to move them from understanding to internalizing and wanting the strategic initiative to work, so they can start to decide that they want to take actions to help make that happen. Another thing is to seek small and continuous improvements rather than giant leaps forward. So it's not about taking one big step. It's about lots of little steps and noticing and consolidating those that work and move you forward, promoting those, communicating those, learning from those, and institutionalizing the elements that have been behind the success. Then while the initiative is underway, one of the things that leaders can do and really should do to increase the odds of success is to regularly meet and convene with a forum to look at and understand and talk about what's going on. What are you trying to do? What have you done to do it? What happened when you did it? What did you learn from that? What do you plan to do next? Ask a lot of questions to push up thinking of the leadership team in charge of the initiative, and then give advice, guidance, support, and direction. This is a continuous process to govern and guide what's going on. And this is, if you were talking initially about lack of commitment, this is where that commitment shows up, where the leaders are right there looking at, guiding, and showing what it is they want to have happen. And then the next thing is to make sure that you stay focused and only do that which makes sense to do given what you're trying to do, and not a whole bunch of other things just because they can be done. So the idea is to stay on point, stay focused on that which will really matter and drive success. And then when there is success, celebrate it. Point to it, promote it, consolidate it, learn the lessons that are there to be learned on the way up to it, and acculturate it, which means make it part of the culture so that everybody internalizes what's happening, what's going on, so it becomes part of the way things are. So that's a very high-level summary of the 3 broad areas: get ready, get set, go guide, that I have found in my career help organizations and leaders to take what they've decided to do and actually do it, not just talk about it. I have packaged it in a course for American University and University of San Francisco for students in the business schools, Masters of Organization Development, and I have put together a workbook to help with that. And I also use this with clients. If you're interested in it, you can get at it through the site. There's also a lot of tools, templates, blog posts, and work problems and examples on my website at intelligent.com if you're interested.